Good evening, traders, and then welcome to one of our sessions. This one is long overdue. For those that have been constant on the platform, know that we host these sessions once in a while where we talk about forex trading issues and then how we can basically solve those issues. Today, in particular, we're going to be talking about fundamental analysis. Now, why I decided to talk about fundamental analysis today, I was thinking about rebooting this. I don't know what topic to like use, but then after what happened on Friday, where we had this whole move to the upside, like out of the blue, I was like, nah, we actually need to talk about fundamental analysis. We need to still emphasize the importance of fundamental analysis and how it basically affects our trading, how we can look out for it, and then how we can use it to get opportunities in the markets. Do you get good trading opportunities in the market? So that's what we're going to be trying to talk about today. Yeah. Without further ado, we get started. But then if you want to be, or if you're not on our platform and then you want to like be joining these sessions every now and then, because we'll start hosting it every week. I'll drop the link in the chat box. If you're not on it, you can use the link to like join. One sec. The link. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat box. Yeah, so use the link and then join. So let's get started. Now, if you look at the market we're trading, yeah, this market is the forex trading markets. Sorry, it's more or less the forex markets. Do you understand the foreign exchange markets? Now, when we say this is the foreign exchange market, what this means is it's more or less like this whole global platform. Do you understand? Where we're looking to trade multiple instruments that are not limited to a small market. Do you understand? It's not like we say markets where if I want to get something, we say market, I cannot get it another place. Do you understand? The market is big. And if you look at what we trade, there are different things we could trade. But then if you look at what we trade the most as forex traders is actually currencies. Do you understand? In forms of currency pairs, where we have two currencies put together, and then we're looking to trade that whole fluctuation between those currencies. That's if one currency is getting stronger than the other, price will be going up. If it's getting weaker than the other, price will be going down. Now, since we understand that, there's that whole thing of okay, fundamentally, what is actually influencing the strength and weakness of a currency? And the direct answer or the strongest thing there is the economy. Do you understand? The economy of that country where the currency is from. Do you understand? Or for the case of the euro, the economy is where they use the currency. Do you understand? So if the economy is performing well, the currency is going to what? Be appreciating. And if the economy is performing bad, the economy is going to what? Sorry, if the economy is performing bad, the currency is going to what? Be depreciating. Now that's like the rough summary. There are a lot of things. Now, in our basic question, since we know that okay, currencies now are affected by economies, there's that whole question of, okay, what actually makes an economy good or bad, or what makes an economy grow or fall? Do you understand? There are a lot of things, and most of the things are policies. Do you understand? These policies are things that will basically attract investments. Do you understand? There are things that will make businesses hard or businesses actually go well for all in the economy. Do you understand? And when these policies are actually good, you see that investments come into those countries. Do you understand? People bring money to those countries to what invest. Now, you see these investors that are bringing money. First of all, they are not bringing in small money. At the same time, these guys are not just coming into the economies to what invest blindly. They are looking at certain things before they decide to invest or not. Are you guys paying attention? So they are looking at certain things. Now, what are those things they are looking at? Those things are called economic indicators. Are you guys with me? Please, if you guys are with me, just drop an emoji in the comments or in the chat box so I know that you guys are hearing me. Please. Yeah. So now, economic indicators. Now, what are these economic indicators? These economic indicators are more or less not parameters per se, but then certain indexes or certain things that we can use to know if a certain economy is performing well. Do you understand? Or if a certain sector of the economy is performing well. Do you get? There, it's more or less what investors pay attention to before they decide to put money or remove money out of somewhere. Do you get? It's more or less like Abdulhab now goes to Kaduna to go and invest. He wants to open a business in Kaduna. He wants to open maybe like a laundry shop in Kaduna. Before he put his money there, he first of all check what are the chances of me making money in this place. Do you understand? Are the people in Kaduna going to dry cleaners to actually get their clothes washed and ironed? Or are they only washing, they are not ironing? Or are they just ironing, they are not washing? All those are things you pay attention to. You still look at the security. Do you understand? Is the security there good? I get it. So it's the same thing. An investor coming to invest money in a country like Nigeria too will pay attention to these things. Do you understand? It might not be the same thing, but then they'll pay attention to certain things. Those things are actually economic indicators. Now, there are a lot of them, but then the few that I have at the top of my head are things like GDP. GDP more or less looks at I think the total is it the total amount of goods and services produced in a certain economy within a certain period. Then we have things like inflation rates. This one, every Nigerian knows what inflation is right now. Nobody where me no know it's in the inflation. Then after inflation, we got things like interest rates. Uh, we got employment or unemployment rates. Employment rate. Let me see. Employment rates. You get these ones are just a few of those economic indicators. Are you guys getting the idea? So now these economic indicators more or less tell us if economies are going to be performing good or what bad, or if economies are viable for investment or not. Now, like I said, these investors putting money in these economies are not just putting money, they are not just moving small money. Do you understand? They are moving huge chunks of money. So when they move money, that movement of money from one economy to another tends to reflect on the currencies. Do you understand? So let's take example interest rate. Interest rate now is just telling you how much you're going to get. Do you understand? As interest on anything. So if you borrow money now, that interest rate is the minimum they can like charge you. Or if you like give out money for investment now, that interest rate is the least you can like look to collect. Are you guys getting the idea? So now let's say there's this investor that has his money in the UK. So he has his money in the UK. And then the US decided to increase their interest rates, maybe from like 1% to like maybe 6%. Now the UK's interest rate is maybe around 3. Now the interest rate in this US is actually higher than the one in UK. Now this investor having money in the UK now be like, okay, if I carry my money now put in the US, I'll actually get more returns on it. Do you understand? So it's much more wiser for me to go and put my money in the US. Now, this investor, mind you, is not moving small money, it's moving big amounts of money. So when he carries this is pounds, this is UK pounds to the US, before he'll be able to invest, you have to change it to what? The dollar. So it's more or less selling the pound to what? Get the dollar, which in turn will more or less affect, it's more or less increasing the demand on the dollar and then reducing the demand on what? The pound. Now, since this money that is being moved is actually much, you actually what seeds, you actually see it affect currencies. Are you guys getting the idea of this thing? So now, since investors actually pay attention to these things before they decide to invest their money in places, yeah, and we know that these guys are the big players in the market. They are the ones actually influencing price movements, or their actions are more or less influencing price movements. We, as individual traders, we know that we cannot control the markets. Do you understand? The highest we can do is try to follow these guys' footsteps. Do you get? Now we know that okay, these things are things they pay attention to. How do we, as individual traders, to pay attention to these economic indicators? Is with our economic calendars. Do you understand? So we have a lot of economic calendars out there, but then your economic calendar per se is just that place where you see list of economic events, important economic events happening across the world, the time they are going to happen, and then the effect they'll basically have on the markets or on currencies. Now, like I said, there are a lot of economic calendars, but then for the sake of this class, the one we're going to be using would be my FX book. I have Forex Factory here, but then we'll use my FX book. My FX book.
Which is the best to use?
Honestly, both of them actually work. You get both of them actually work. But then my FX book is widely used. Forex Factory too is used. So you can just pick between the two. Initially, I used to use Forex Factory, but then at some point I stopped using it. There was this day it showed me that a high impact event was actually a medium impact. So I just stopped using it.
Okay, okay.
So now, when you go to Forex Factory, there's this place at the top here where you have, sorry, when you go to my FX book, there's this place at the top here where you have economic calendar. You click on it and then it will bring you to this page. Now, like I said, these are important economic events happening across the globe. Now, these economic events actually range from like speeches of important people in economies, like CBN governors, that central bank governors, um, speeches from let's say ministers of finance. Do you get all those things are important things? We have the popular one where Powell, anytime Powell comes out to say something, it's always affecting traders. Do you get it? Could be release of economic data, do you understand, or statistical data like GDP, like interest rates, inflation rates, all those things that are calculative, all those things that have numbers attached to it, things like CPI, things like NFP, all those ones are release of economic data. Do you understand? And all these, let's say, speeches of presidents also, do you get? So all those things are important economic events. They are things that have potential to what affects the market. I get it. So now, if we look at this, our economic calendar here, let's see. If you look at this, our economic calendar, you see that we have first we have date here. Do you get? Now this date is just showing us the date and time this economic event will play out. So today's date is 24th. Yeah, so we got like economic events coming up soon. Yeah, we got economic events coming up soon. This one by 23, that's 11:45. So we also got time left. So you see that we got time left is 3 hours, 54 minutes. Do you get? The next thing here we have is the event itself. Like I said, these events range from speeches to release of economic data. And if you look at this one now, it's talking about retail sales year on year for quarter two. That YOY is year on year. And then QOQ is actually quarter on quarter. Do you understand for quarter two? So quarter two just passed. You get one in quarter three right now. We'll soon enter quarter four. So this one is the one they calculated for quarter two that just passed. Always raising their hand. Calvin, Kevin, while you're raising your hand, you can drop your question in the meeting chat for now. When I finish, we'll actually talk about it. Now, as I was saying, the next thing here we got our events. Now, under this events tab, we actually have the country which the event is actually going to happen at, which you see is reflected by the flag. This one is happening in New Zealand. Do you get? And then we have the currency which is going to affect, which is the New Zealand dollar. So anything that has the New Zealand dollar in the forex market now has a potential to be affected by this. Now, the next thing we have is the event itself, the name, which is retail sales year on year for quarter two. Now, after the event, after the details of the event, we got the impact. Do you understand? So we got three types of impacts. We got low impact, medium impact, and then high impact. So we got like high impact. These ones are high impact. Let me look for a medium impact. We got low impact here, plenty of them. See a medium impact here also. Now, all these are different impacts these events can have on the market. Now, remember, I said that these events are actually important economic events happening across the globe. Do you understand? But then some are actually more important than some. So some will actually affect price, some will actually not. Are you guys getting the idea? So we have to actually like pay attention to them. So high impact news events or high impact economic events, we actually affect price movement or affect currencies. Most times we affect currencies. Medium impact is more or less like a 50-50 something. And then low impact, in as much as they're important, they would most likely not affect price movement like that. Do you get? Now, the next thing we'll look at here is the previous, consensus, and then actual. So the previous is what the value was the last time this whole data was released. So everything that has a value attached to it, everything that is calculated would actually have a previous. So the last time we released this data, what was it? That's what the previous is. After the previous, you got your consensus. Now, your consensus is more or less what economic analysts are estimating that the value is going to be. So they are more or less, I like to call them guesstimates. So they are guesses and then estimates at the same time. Do you get? It's not as if they are wrong or it's not as if they are right. I always give this example that let's say we go to the mall. Do you understand? We are sitting at the lobby and then people are walking in and then walking out, and then someone approaches us and then asks that, okay, how many people have walked into this building today? It can be like, okay, from what I've seen, it's more or less like 100 people. Do you understand? Now, it's more or less from what I've seen. It doesn't mean I am right. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. I'm more or less estimating. Now, if they go back to look at the CCTV or they look at like the people that have been going in and out and then see them, there are maybe 150 or like less than 100, it doesn't mean I'm wrong per se. Do you understand? I more or less estimated what I thought it would be. Are you guys getting the idea? So the consensus is more or less the estimates. So I'm more or less estimating what the value is going to be when the event is released. Are you guys getting the idea? It's not something that you should more or less rely on. Do you get? Or at the same time, it's not something you should dismiss. Now, the actual is what the value is going to be when this whole thing is released, when this economic event is released. Do you understand when the value for this economic event is released? So if you look at all these events here, we don't have an actual yet. It's because these events have not actually happened. But then if we go to something like last week, let me see if we can go to last week. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So last week that was from Sunday to 23rd. Apply. You see that all of them actually have actuals because these ones have actually played out. Are you guys getting the idea of this thing? Now, I spoke about the idea that these high impact news events actually affect price movement. So the question now becomes, how did they actually affect price? I get it. Now, the simple answer is that there are two types of impacts. There's that whole short-term impact and then the long-term impact. So the short-term impact is more or less volatility in the market. So you see this whole sharp spike of gold to the upside here. And if you look at other currency pairs too, we got something like that on Friday, where where price just spiked up. All that was because of an important economic event. So if we go back to our economic calendar and then look at Friday. So let's look at Friday. That was Friday. Apply. You see that we got a high impact event around like 3 p.m. Are you getting the idea? So let's go back. Let's look at when this price movement actually happened. When was this? Yeah, 3 p.m. I get it. So if we go back now, you see that all that we had high impact events on the Canadian dollar, and then there was this high impact event on the US dollar, which was a speech from their Fed chairman, more or less like the CBN governor. I getting the idea. So it's more or less that speech, what he said that actually affected price movement, that actually made price like spike to the upside. Are you guys getting the idea? Now, I said that is the whole short-term impact. Now, what is the long-term impact? The long-term impact now is more or less if that policy that was made when that event happened was good or bad, you see it affect the currency in the long run. Do you understand? If it's something that will attract investors, you see that the currency will appreciate in the long run. If it's something that will more or less scare investors away, you see that it will affect the currency what in the long run. So it's more or less like let's use the whole example of Abdullah going to invest now. If he goes to Kaduna to go and build that his dry cleaner shop, if it's something that will give employment to people, do you understand? When he goes there, the only people that will be employed at first will be the people that will be constructing. Do you understand? It's when the whole shop is set up that we employ people that will come and then work as staff and then earn a salary. Do you get? It's not something that will happen overnight. Same thing if an investor brings money to invest in Nigeria, maybe into a certain industry, it will take a while before that whole investment will be set up. I get it. So it will not immediately start showing on the economy. Do you understand? Now, I like to give this example with the whole thing where when the current president was elected, in his inauguration speech, he said, oh, subsidy was removed. Now, that statement of subsidy was removed. It was actually an economic event because it had economic implications. I get it. But then what happened immediately was that there was panic in the whole oil sector, where filling stations were closing down. There were long queues in the filling stations. Do you understand? Price had not changed yet. It was after a few days that NNPC rolled out the adjusted prices for subsidy that was removed. I get it. So the whole initial announcement caused panic. That panic now is that whole thing with spikes in the markets. Do you understand? People are rushing to take out money or people are rushing to dump money somewhere. Are you guys getting the whole idea? Now, in the long run, the whole the whole consequence of that policy, whether good or bad, will tend to show on the economy. Are you guys getting the idea? Please, if you guys are with me, just drop emojis in the comments section or just like, yeah, drop something in the comments so I know you guys are with me. Okay, good. So now let's continue. Now, if you look at the topic of if you look at the topic of today's session, what was there was no sec. Pull this up. Let me pull this up. So if you look at the topic, where's that image I sent? It was using fundamentals to get good trades, what in the forex market. Do you get? But then so far, what we've just spoken about is what fundamentals is, why we're looking at fundamentals, and then how it basically affects price movement. We have not spoken about, okay, as a trader now, how should I actually use this thing to what get trades in the forex market? I know it's something that affects price movement. Do you get? So how do I get trades with it? Honestly, um the simple thing there is do your fundamental analysis. Sorry, do your technical analysis. And then most times, fundamentals will actually align with technicals. So here's what I mean. If you look at this movement to the upside here, okay, this one was ranging. Let me go to gold, I think. Oh shit, sorry. If you look at this gold charts, you see that price was actually trending to the downside. We got like price creating series of like lower low, lower high here, and then lower low. Do you get? Now, before the news event happened, price created this candlestick here. Now, this candlestick actually broke above this whole previous high here. That's the market already started changing to what? A bullish trend. Now, if you look at what happened after that, the candlestick just came out. It was what? A spike to the upside. Now, let's look for the candlestick of NFP. NFP was the first week of August. First week of August, first week. Did NFP really move price? That was like first week of August, August 1st, yes, on Friday. Same thing with this, is the same thing. So if you look at this, you see that price here too, before that NFP, price was creating series of like this low. This low was lower than the previous one. That was like a lower low, lower high. But then price failed to create another lower low. And then we pushed up to create like this high here before the news came out. Now, if we actually measure this, let me see if price actually broke above. Oh, the candlestick had not broke above yet. We just had like equal highs. But then we're having those whole bullish sentiments. And when the news event happened, price just started was spiking to the upside. So most times price will actually align. That's fundamentals will actually align with technicals when they are being released. So I like to look at it that it's just another regular trading day. There was this trade we took. That was when was that? There was the last gold trade we took. Actually, news actually pushed price to our take profits. Let me see. I think that was this one. Was this one here? Yes, yes, it was this one here, where we like took sales on gold, and then price was more or less like ranging for a while, and then news event happened, and then one candlestick went down to like hit our take profits. We're already selling. Now it was around here. This was the setup. Let me look for it on the group. So let's see. You guys actually talk a lot on this group chat. My chat's not loading. Okay, let me use here. So now this was the setup on like my 5 minutes time frame. I would like to use the one here. As this should not loading. I'm good. So one sec. Good. So this was it. Now look at it here on this time on with this whole example. You see that we're already selling, and then when the news event happened, this sell candlestick more or less pushed to the downside. Are you guys getting the idea? So most times, just do your technicals. If you see that a high impact news event is coming, just look for an opportunity to either buy or sell. Align with what technicals are saying. Do you understand? When the news event comes, it will actually push price towards your direction. Do you understand? And honestly, if it doesn't push price towards your direction, it's just another regular day in the forex market. Do you understand? It's just another regular day that price just hit your stop loss. You get it was a normal day that price hits your stop loss. You don't even stress yourself, but then it's because it's on a day that fundamentals were released. That's why it was stressing too much. So for me, do you understand? And from experience, this is basically how I use fundamentals to trade. Before any high impact news event, I look for opportunities in the market. And honestly, if I don't see, most times I'll not trade. But then once I see, I jump on my positions. Do you understand? And wait for price what? Push, sorry, and wait for the high impact news event to push price towards my take profit, basically. Now, another thing I would say is that you'd see people saying things like, oh, look at the values. If it's good for you, see this whole thing where they say, oh, if it's good for the economy, you'd see the currency will appreciate. If it's bad for the economy, the currency will depreciate. But then, honestly, most times when you look at it, yeah, that whole immediate impact will not really push price towards what the values are saying. It's over time that it will tend to show on the economy. Do you understand? And by the time that value is released, you see that when high impact news events happen, you see that the whole thing will be counting before you see the value. By that time, price will move already. Do you understand? It will defeat the whole aim of you looking for opportunities to catch with high impact events. So the best thing to do is just do your technicals. Do you understand? Wait for high impact news events to come into the market and then push price towards your direction. Hope you guys get the whole idea. So if you guys have any questions, you can look to ask now before we end the session. Okay, catching it bits by bits. That's nice. So, and then this video is going to be uploaded later. So for those that maybe came in late, you can still watch it later. I'll send the link. And then what did I even want to say again? Yeah, I think that's all for now. Yeah. And please, for those that will watch this later on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the page. If you made it up to this point, like and subscribe to the page. It like helps with the growth of the page and all. So you guys don't have any questions, we can call it an evening. Okay, so Collins, and I came late. No worries. I would actually set the video later. Okay, while we're waiting for questions, I was telling you guys, I think the last time we held the session that I would actually get like a good broker for you guys. So if you're looking for like a good broker with like nice conditions to trade with, yeah, um, you can use Valitax. That's what I've been using for like the past couple of months now. Valitax, one sec. Valitax, Valitax. Yeah, Valitax. So they got like very like good conditions and then like good stuffs, fast deposit, fast withdrawals. Let me log in my accounts. That's what I've been using to trade. And then they got like an app also. 282815. So yeah, like I told you, I have an account. I already funded like $500 there. That's what I've been using to trade. I've withdrawn a lot. If you go to like my my let me see, fund summary. Let me see all those withdrawals. Let me see, fund summary. Yeah. So you always see that withdraw. I'm always withdrawing money from it. It's like very nice. Their deposits are fast, withdrawals are very, very fast. See, all my withdrawals are showing success. And then one good thing why I started using it was because if you look at, let me go to add accounts, you see this whole thing where the least amount you can deposit, minimum deposits for their standard account is $1. So for like Xness, it's actually like $10, but then for Valitax, it's actually like $1. So it's good. And then they have up to like 1 to 2,000 leverage. Are you guys getting the idea? And then for their pro accounts, that's whole low spread accounts where you don't have spread. It's actually $50, unlike $500 on Xness. So it's like a good choice. You can actually use this one to trade. So even if you don't have money, you can just use to fund the small one you have. Do you get? So if you, for registration, I'll paste the link in the chat section so you guys will use and then register. One sec. So just use the link I pasted to register. Like I said, least amount you can deposit is $1, so there's no need to fear. And if you have any issues with it, As long as you're in our community, if you have any issues with it, please just reach out and then they'll actually sort it out immediately. You don't have to stress yourself. Yeah. So, in the absence of any questions, we just call it an evening. And please,
Sorry, Scooby, I have a question. Sorry, good evening.
okay, what's the question?
I wanted to ask, I was on a trade on Thursday.
Yes,
That's AUDUSD and SZUSD.
yes,
So at that point, price was actually ranging. I don't know if you can look at it in the chart.
okay,
Then I saw that price was at a valid support zone, so I
yeah,
was expecting a reversal.
yeah,
But I knew like it will have to be like due to a news effect.
yeah,
But then at that point, I was just waiting on the buys. We had like two news on that Thursday.
yeah,
I think PPI and something else.
yeah,
So like I executed the buys now, but then the news just ended up manipulating, and then the move ended up happening on Friday after I don't blow my account on that Thursday.
yeah. Sorry about that. I think yeah, that one just came from you. Maybe putting a slight stop loss. Since it was a range, you'd have just put your stop loss a few pips below the range. You get. And please, one sec. The meeting will soon end. So please, maybe just you can ask on the group, and then I can like send a voice note. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so yeah, no worries. So have a very wonderful evening, guys, and then take care of yourself. We would have a midweek analysis on Wednesday. Sorry, on Tuesday. On Tuesday in the evening. Yeah. So you guys should stay active. We'll do that. Take care, guys.